The Honda Civic's engine wheezed to life on the third attempt, a sound Maya Chen had grown fond of despite, or perhaps because of, its complete lack of dignity. The holographic parking meters blinked disapprovingly as she fed credits into the neural scanner, their AI voices chirping reminders about upgrading to premium autonomous parking for optimal city integration. She ignored them, shouldering her canvas messenger bag and stepping onto the sidewalk where children pressed their faces against the smart glass windows of Maplewood Public Library. "Miss Maya! Miss Maya!" 7-year-old Zoe's voice cut through the morning bustle, her neural implant glowing softly blue, the standard issue model provided by the city's education department. Not like the premium gold ones Maya's family sported, the kind that could stream real-time market data and social metrics directly into your visual cortex. Maya smiled, genuinely, feeling the familiar warmth that came from being wanted rather than tolerated. "Good morning, Zoe. Ready for today's adventure?" The girl bounced on her toes, clutching a worn paperback, an actual book, not a neural download. "I finished the one about the dragon. Can we read about spaceships today?" "We absolutely can." Maya's fingers unconsciously traced the edge of her tablet, where lines of code waited in encrypted folders. Code that had quietly revolutionized how children learned to read, though none of these kids would ever know it. Her neural implant, the basic model she'd refused to upgrade, buzzed with a message notification. JM. "Morning, genius. How's the secret identity holding up?" She dismissed the notification without reading the rest, focusing instead on unlocking the library's main doors. The biometric scanner hesitated, as it always did, struggling to process her deliberately outdated security clearance. Around the city, people paid thousands for instant access neural keys that could unlock anything from their luxury apartments to their climate-controlled vehicles. Maya preferred the 2-second delay that came with being invisible to the system. "Maya, dear, you know the city council meeting is next week." Library Director Patricia Hawthorne materialized beside her, tablet clutched against her chest like armor. "They're pushing harder than ever for the modernization initiative." Maya's stomach tightened. Modernization. Corporate speak for gutting every public service that didn't generate profit margins. "Any word on the community support campaign?" 17 signatures out of a district population of 43,000. Patricia's neural implant flashed red, stress indicators that anyone with a premium social scanner could read from across the room. "Maya, I've been thinking, perhaps it's time to consider other opportunities. The private sector is booming, and with your programming background, I'll figure something out." Maya's voice carried more confidence than she felt. Behind them, children streamed through the doors, their laughter bouncing off walls lined with actual books, an increasingly rare sight in 2015-70. The day passed in its usual rhythm: story time, coding tutorials disguised as games, helping elderly patrons navigate the bewildering array of digital services that had replaced human interaction. Maya's implant buzzed regularly with messages from JM, each one a small bright spot in an otherwise grinding day. "JM, TechnoEd wants to fast-track the acquisition. They're talking 8 figures." "JM, you still there? Not having second thoughts about changing the world, are you?" "JM, Maya, answer me. Did something happen?" She waited until her lunch break to respond, stepping into the library's small break room where the security cameras had convenient blind spots. "Sorry," she whispered into her communicator, activating the encrypted channel. "Busy morning?" "You scared me." His voice came through her earpiece, warm and concerned in a way that made her chest tighten. "I thought maybe the family pressure finally got to you." Maya laughed, but it came out bitter. Speaking of family pressure, she pulled the invitation from her bag, its holographic gold trim still glittering despite being handled by her coffee-stained fingers. "Mum's 60th birthday party, tomorrow night." "Ah, the annual Fix Maya convention." Derek already called 3 times. Apparently Jennifer's influencer friends will be there, and my aesthetic choices might reflect poorly on the family brand. She traced the invitation's embedded neural chips, each one programmed to display different luxury experiences based on the recipient's biometric data. When she'd opened it, the hologram had shown simple scenes, quiet gardens, handwritten letters, cups of tea. When Derek opened his copy, she knew it would have displayed yachts and stock tickers. "You know what I think about your aesthetic choices." Maya's cheeks warmed. They'd never met in person, their partnership built entirely on encrypted calls and coded messages. But somehow, JM knew exactly how to make her feel seen. "Easy to say when you're not looking at my clearance rack cardigan." "Maya." His voice dropped, becoming intimate in the way that made her forget they were separated by computer screens and anonymous protocols. "You're brilliant. You're changing kids' lives. Don't let them make you forget that." "The acquisition deal will happen regardless. TechnoEd wants Wordwings because it works, because you made something real while they were busy buying market shares and optimizing profit margins." Maya closed her eyes, letting his confidence wash over her. "Sometimes I think you're the only person who actually sees me." "I see you." The words carried weight, promise, more than you know. Before she could respond, the break room door chimed. Maya quickly ended the call, shoving her communicator into her bag as Patricia appeared with stress-flushed cheeks. "Maya, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's been a development. The City Council moved up their vote. They're meeting tonight to discuss the library's future." The invitation crinkled in Maya's grip. Tomorrow's party suddenly felt less like family drama and more like a wake. That evening, Maya's apartment above Chen's bakery felt smaller than usual. The single room served as bedroom, office and laboratory, her coding setup crammed between a Murphy bed and a kitchenette that hadn't been updated since the 2140S. Through her window, she could see the glow of Manhattan's premium districts, where her family lived in climate-controlled towers that scraped the clouds. Her neural implant chimed with an incoming call. Derek's contact information appeared in her peripheral vision, complete with his current net worth ticker and social influence rating. Features she couldn't turn off without upgrading to premium privacy controls. "Maya, thank God. I was starting to think you'd gone off-grid completely." "Hi, Derek." She activated her holographic display, watching her brother's perfectly groomed image materialize in her living space. Behind him, she could see the edge of his Manhattan penthouse, all smart glass and ambient lighting. "Listen, about tomorrow, Jennifer's been planning this for months, and some very important people will be there. I need you to promise me you'll make an effort." Maya's reflection stared back at her from the darkened window. Cardigan, jeans, sneakers. In 18 hours, she'd be standing next to family members whose outfits cost more than she made in 6 months. "I'll be appropriate. Define appropriate." Derek's neural implant flashed, indicating he was simultaneously running stock analysis while talking to her. "Because your version of appropriate and reality's version tend to differ. I'll wear something nice." "Maya, I'm serious. Jennifer's friends from the Platinum Social Circle will be there. These are people with influence ratings in the millions. People who matter." "Right, people who matter." Maya's voice went flat. Derek sighed, his hologram flickering as he moved through his apartment. "Look, I know you think we're all shallow, but image matters, success matters, and frankly, your lifestyle choices reflect on all of us." My lifestyle choices. Working at a library that's about to be shut down, living above a bakery, driving that death trap car. His voice softened, taking on the patronizing tone she hated most. "Maya, you're brilliant. You could work anywhere. Jennifer has connections at tech companies, marketing firms, places where your skills would actually matter." Maya's tablet chimed softly, a message notification from JM. She ignored it. "And what if I like my job?" "Reading to children isn't a job, it's volunteer work. You're 28 years old. when are you going to start building something real? The irony was so sharp it cut. Maya looked at her tablet, where 2 million active users were learning to read through algorithms she'd written in this very room, where acquisition offers arrived daily from companies that would kill for her user engagement metrics, where JM sent her messages that made her feel more valued than any conversation with her family ever had. "I should go," she said. "Early day tomorrow." "Maya, wait, I didn't mean—" Derek's image pixelated slightly as his connection prioritized other applications. "I love you. We all do. We just want to see you succeed." "I know." Maya's finger hovered over the disconnect button. "See you tomorrow." Derek's hologram dissolved, leaving her alone with the city lights and her reflection. Her communicator buzzed immediately. "JM, rough call with the family." Maya smiled despite herself, settling into her desk chair and activating their encrypted channel. "How do you always know?" "Your activity patterns shift when you're upset. You code differently when you're angry, tighter loops, more efficient functions. It's like emotional fingerprinting." "That's either very sweet or slightly creepy." "I prefer attentively supportive." His laugh resonated through her speakers, warm and genuine. "Want to talk about it?" Maya found herself describing Derek's call, Jennifer's social media empire, the family's obsession with status metrics and influence ratings. JM listened without judgment, occasionally asking questions that showed he understood both the technical and emotional landscape she navigated daily. "They have no idea what they're looking at," he said finally. "Tomorrow night, you'll be surrounded by people measuring worth in followers and bank balances, while you've quietly built something that matters." "It doesn't feel like it matters when I'm watching kids lose their library." "Maya?" His voice dropped to that intimate register that made her pulse quicken. "Trust me on this. Tomorrow is going to be very different than you think." "What do you mean?" "I mean, the TechnoEd acquisition isn't the only surprise coming your way." Maya leaned forward, studying her reflection in the dark monitor. "JM, what aren't you telling me?" "Get some sleep, brilliant girl. Tomorrow everything changes." The call ended, leaving Maya staring at her screen with a mixture of anticipation and unease. Outside her window, the city hummed with activity. Autonomous vehicles tracing light patterns through the streets, delivery drones weaving between buildings, the constant pulse of a world that never slept. She pulled up her code editor, letting muscle memory guide her fingers across the holographic keyboard. Lines of elegant programming flowed across her screens. Algorithms that had helped millions of children discover the joy of reading, neural pathways optimized for learning, user interfaces designed for wonder rather than profit. Her family would never understand this. Tomorrow night, surrounded by people who measured success in luxury goods and social metrics, she'd be the peculiar relative who chose books over bank accounts. They'd make their subtle comments, offer their patronizing advice, and never suspect that the woman in the thrift store dress had quietly revolutionized educational technology. Maya's reflection smiled back at her from the monitor. Let them have their platinum social circles and influence ratings. She had something better: 2 million children learning to love words, a mysterious partner who saw her true value, and a secret that could reshape everything. Tomorrow night would indeed be very different than anyone expected. She saved her work and prepared for bed, her neural implant dimming to sleep mode. In 18 hours, she'd face her family's judgment, armed with nothing but quiet dignity and a secret worth $50 million. The city lights flickered beyond her window like distant stars, and Maya Chen fell asleep, dreaming of algorithms and revenge served with algorithmic precision. Maya's vintage dress, a simple black number she'd found at a consignment shop 3 years ago, felt like armor as she stepped through the neural sensor gates into her mother's backyard. The security system chimed softly, scanning her biometrics and cross-referencing them with the guest list before projecting a subtle holographic badge over her left shoulder. Maya Chen, family. Not Maya Chen, daughter, like Derek's badge, or Maya Chen, honored guest, like the others. Just family, generic, forgettable. The transformation was breathtaking and nauseating in equal measure. Helen's modest suburban garden had been converted into something from a luxury lifestyle feed. Climate-controlled pavilions hovering 3 feet off the ground, their anti-gravity generators humming at frequencies just below human hearing. Holographic cherry blossoms drifted through the air, programmed to dissolve before touching anyone's designer clothes. Smart glass panels redirected natural sunlight to create perfect golden hour lighting, while embedded speakers played a neural harmonic soundtrack designed to elevate mood and encourage social bonding. Maya's neural implant buzzed with unwanted data streams. Social credit scores floating above heads, real-time fashion valuations, influence metrics that turned human interaction into a game she'd never learned to play. Derek's new Patek Philippe Neural Sync watch pulsed with soft blue light, its AI assistant whispering stock updates directly into his auditory cortex. Brad wore a suit woven with micro-displays that showed rotating feeds of his recent property sales, turning his body into a walking advertisement. "Maya, there she is!" Jennifer's voice cut through the garden's carefully orchestrated ambience. Maya's sister-in-law approached with arms outstretched, her neural implant glowing gold. The premium model that could live-stream directly to her followers while simultaneously running facial recognition on everyone in her field of view. "Look at you, so authentic." The hug was performed for Jennifer's audience, her implant automatically adjusting camera angles to capture the most flattering shot. Maya felt the subtle vibration against Jennifer's temple as the AI enhanced her appearance in real time, smoothing skin and brightening eyes for the thousands watching through Neural Stream. Jennifer. Maya stepped back, maintaining distance between herself and the recording field. "The garden looks incredible." "Doesn't it?" Derek spared no expense. The anti-grav platforms alone cost more than most people make in 6 months. Jennifer's smile never wavered, but her eyes flicked to Maya's dress. Vintage, unenhanced, tragically offline. "You look comfortable, so refreshing to see someone who doesn't feel pressured by appearances." Maya's cheeks burned, but she kept her voice level. "Comfort is important." "Absolutely, self-acceptance is so brave." Jennifer's neural implant pulsed as comments streamed in from her audience. Maya caught fragments through the peripheral bleed. "Who is this?" "Yikes, that dress." Natural beauty, though, before Jennifer's privacy filters kicked in. Across the garden, Maya spotted her cousin Brad holding court near the champagne fountain, his BMW collection rotating on a holographic display above his head like a digital crown. His fiancée Chloe, a model whose genetic modifications had cost more than Maya's apartment, stood beside him, wearing a dress that shifted patterns based on her biometric feedback. Currently, it displayed soft gold spirals, contentment, mild superiority, social satisfaction. "Maya!" Brad's voice boomed across the space, drawing attention from nearby conversations. "Come here, I want to introduce you to some people." Maya's feet carried her forward, despite every instinct screaming to flee. The group around Brad fell silent as she approached, their neural implants scanning her appearance and cross-referencing it with social databases. She watched their expressions shift as the data came back. No verified social media presence, minimal digital footprint, economic indicators suggesting working-class status. "Everyone, this is my cousin Maya, the one I was telling you about." Brad's arm settled around her shoulders with proprietary familiarity. "Maya still believes in the simple life, books, libraries, that whole thing. It's like having a living piece of history in the family." "How fascinating!" The woman to Brad's left wore a neural crown, an expensive piece of jewelry that functioned as an external processing unit, allowing her to run multiple AI assistants simultaneously. "I'm Vivian Rothschild from the Platinum Social Circle. Brad tells me you work with children." I'm a librarian. Maya felt the weight of their collective judgment, subtle and suffocating. A librarian. How wonderfully nostalgic. Vivian's smile was perfectly calibrated, her neural crown processing facial micro-expressions and adjusting her response in real time. My great-grandmother used to tell stories about libraries, before neural downloading, of course. Such a romantic idea, all that knowledge locked away in physical objects. Books aren't obsolete, Maya said quietly. Children learn differently when they can touch the pages, smell the paper. There's something about physical interaction that neural downloads can't replicate. Brad laughed, the sound sharp and dismissive. Maya, that's like saying candles are better than smart lighting because they flicker. Charm doesn't pay the bills. Speaking of bills, the man beside Vivian, his temple implant marking him as a financial analyst, leaned forward with predatory interest. Real estate market's absolutely exploding right now. Brad closed 3 deals just this week. What kind of property appreciation are you seeing in the library district? Maya's hands tightened around her clutch, a simple black purse that contained her neural communicator, her vintage phone, and a secret worth $50 million. I rent. Ah. The analyst's expression shifted to something between pity and confusion. Well, renting has its advantages, flexibility, minimal responsibility. Very freeing, I imagine. Maya's always been the free spirit of the family, Brad said, his tone suggesting this was not entirely a compliment. While the rest of us were building careers, she was finding herself. And what about relationships? Chloe spoke for the first time, her artificially enhanced voice carrying just the right note of innocent curiosity. Anyone special in your life? Maya felt heat rise in her cheeks, thinking of late-night conversations with JM, of promises about meetings and revelations she couldn't begin to explain to these people. I'm focusing on my work right now. Work. Brad's smile was sharp. Maya, you know what I made on commission last month? More than you make in a year. And I'm not even trying to be cruel. I'm trying to help you understand that passion projects don't create security. They don't build futures. Some things are more important than money, Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. Are they? Vivian's neural crown pulsed as she accessed real-time market data. Because from where I'm standing, money creates opportunities, choices, freedom. Without it, you're just constrained by circumstances. Maya's neural implant buzzed with an incoming message. JM's contact signature appeared in her peripheral vision, and she felt a flutter of relief. JM, you look beautiful tonight. That dress is perfect on you. Maya's head snapped up, scanning the party. How could he know what she was wearing? Her eyes swept the garden, searching faces, looking for someone who might be watching her with more than casual interest. JM, stop looking around. You'll give me away. Just enjoy the party. Things are about to get very interesting. Excuse me, Maya murmured to the group. I need some air. She walked quickly toward the house, away from the floating platforms and holographic cherry blossoms, toward the quiet sanctuary of the front yard. Her hands shook as she activated her communicator's encrypted channel. Where are you? She whispered into the device. Close. JM's voice was warm in her ear, intimate and reassuring. How bad is it? They're treating me like a curiosity, a living museum exhibit of what failure looks like. Maya leaned against the garden fence, letting the evening breeze cool her flushed cheeks. Brad just told a group of strangers that I make less in a year than he makes in a month. He has no idea what he's talking about. Work. Brad's smile was sharp. Maya, you know what I made on commission last month? More than you make in a year. And I'm not even trying to be cruel. I'm trying to help you understand that passion projects don't create security. They don't build futures. Some things are more important than money, Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. Are they? Vivian's neural crown pulsed as she accessed real-time market data. Because from where I'm standing, money creates opportunities, choices, freedom. Without it, you're just constrained by circumstances. Maya's neural implant buzzed with an incoming message. JM's contact signature appeared in her peripheral vision, and she felt a flutter of relief. JM, you look beautiful tonight. That dress is perfect on you. Maya's head snapped up, scanning the party. How could he know what she was wearing? Her eyes swept the garden, searching faces, looking for someone who might be watching her with more than casual interest. JM, stop looking around. You'll give me away. Just enjoy the party. Things are about to get very interesting. Excuse me, Maya murmured to the group. I need some air. She walked quickly toward the house, away from the floating platforms and holographic cherry blossoms, toward the quiet sanctuary of the front yard. Her hands shook as she activated her communicator's encrypted channel. Where are you? She whispered into the device. Close. JM's voice was warm in her ear, intimate and reassuring. How bad is it? They're treating me like a curiosity, a living museum exhibit of what failure looks like. Maya leaned against the garden fence, letting the evening breeze cool her flushed cheeks. Brad just told a group of strangers that I make less in a year than he makes in a month. He has no idea what he's talking about. I am. Which one are you? You'll find out soon enough. Maya, are you okay? You're not saying anything. I'm processing. She pressed her palm against her forehead, feeling the slight warmth of her neural implant as it tried to cope with her elevated stress levels. The richest man under 30 in North America has been flirting with me for 6 months. The second richest, actually, and I haven't been flirting. His voice grew soft, intimate. I've been falling in love. Maya's breath caught. Through the garden fence, she could see the party continuing, laughter and conversation, the gentle glow of neural implants, the soft hum of anti-gravity platforms. Her family and their friends celebrating success, measured in luxury goods and social metrics, never suspecting that the woman they pitied had just become one of the wealthiest people in the room. I should go back, she said finally. Are you going to tell them? Maya thought about Brad's condescending smile, Jennifer's performative sympathy, Derek's barely concealed embarrassment. About Vivian Rothschild and her neural crown, dispensing wisdom about money and freedom to someone who now had more of both than she could spend in a lifetime. Not yet, Maya said. I think I want to see how far this goes first. Maya Chen, you are magnificent. She ended the call and walked back toward the party, her vintage dress now feeling less like armor and more like camouflage. The garden's perfect lighting painted everything in golden hues. But Maya saw it differently now. These people with their neural crowns and micro-display clothing, their anti-gravity platforms and social credit scores. They were performing wealth and status for each other, an elaborate dance of insecurity dressed up as success. Maya straightened her shoulders and walked back into the party, carrying $50 million and the love of James Morrison like secrets written on her skin. The game was about to change, but only she knew it. Time to see what her family really thought about the woman they'd spent all evening pitying. The gift exchange began with the theatrical precision of a corporate presentation. Helen sat in the center of the anti-gravity platform, surrounded by perfectly wrapped packages that gleamed under the garden's smart lighting. Maya watched from the periphery as her family performed generosity like a competitive sport. Derek went first, naturally. His neural implant synchronized with the gift's embedded chip, projecting a holographic display above the unwrapped diamond tennis bracelet. Market value, provenance, and social significance scrolled through the air in elegant script. Conflict-free diamonds, Mum, certified by the Global Ethics blockchain. Derek's voice carried across the garden as Jennifer's livestream captured every angle. The neural sync setting will monitor your heart rate and stress levels, adjusting the stone's luminosity to match your biorhythms. $10,000, Helen read from the display, her voice hollow with forced gratitude. Derek, you shouldn't have. Only the best for my mother, Derek's smile was brilliant for the cameras, but Maya caught the micro-expression her brother thought no one would notice. The quick glance toward Brad, measuring his cousin's reaction, calculating whether 10,000 would be enough to maintain family hierarchy. Brad's gift came next, a luxury resort package that projected immersive environments around Helen's chair, tropical beaches, mountain vistas, spa treatments that existed only in virtual reality but felt completely real through neural interface. $5,000, the hologram announced, for experiences money couldn't traditionally buy. Aunt Patricia's spa membership included access to genetic therapists and longevity treatments, her gift wrapping itself around Helen like a cocoon of soft light, while medical projections showed optimized cellular regeneration. $7,000 for the promise of extended youth. Jennifer's offering was perhaps the cruelest. A collection of designer handbags whose embedded AI would curate Helen's social media presence, automatically posting lifestyle content designed to maximize influence metrics. $8,000 for algorithmic friendship. Maya's hands remained steady around her simple gift, a photo album bound in actual leather, filled with printed photographs and handwritten notes. No embedded chips, no holographic displays, no market valuation floating above it like a neon sign announcing its worth. Maya, dear, what did you bring for Mom? Aunt Patricia's voice cut through the garden's ambient noise, drawing every eye to the woman in the vintage dress holding something that belonged in a museum. Maya stepped forward, her neural implant buzzing with 50 million reasons to reveal the truth. Instead, she placed the album in her mother's hands with the same reverence Derek had shown his diamond bracelet. Just memories, Mom. Pictures of us through the years. I wrote something on each page. Helen opened the cover with gentle fingers, her face softening as she saw herself and Maya 20 years younger, baking cookies in a kitchen that predated smart appliances, reading bedtime stories before neural downloads made imagination obsolete. Her thumb traced over Maya's handwriting. Remember when happiness was this simple? The silence stretched too long. Maya felt the weight of collective judgment, the subtle shift in posture that meant her family was preparing to deliver killing blows disguised as kindness. That's Jennifer's neural crown processed social cues and facial expressions, calculating the optimal response. So personal, so handmade. It's like having a piece of history. The word history carried the sting of obsolescence. Maya's gift was ancient, irrelevant, embarrassingly analog in a world where love could be quantified and displayed in holographic market valuations. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Helen's voice held genuine warmth, but Maya caught the apologetic glance she threw toward the other family members. I'll treasure it. Jennifer's livestream captured the moment, Helen holding the photo album while surrounded by gifts worth $40,000 combined, the contrast stark enough to generate viral content. Blessed family, different love languages appeared in Maya's peripheral vision as Jennifer tagged the moment. You know what's funny? Brad's voice carried the particular tone Maya had learned to fear, false casualness hiding sharp edges. I was just thinking about the math. Derek's gift is worth more than Maya makes in 4 months. My resort package, 6 weeks of her salary. It's wild how different our lives turned out. Maya's neural implant buzzed with an encrypted message from James. Stay strong, 20 more minutes. 20 minutes until what? Maya scanned the faces around the platform, searching for any sign of recognition, any hint that might reveal which of these people was the man she'd been falling in love with through computer screens. The financial analyst from earlier? Too old, the young tech entrepreneur near the champagne fountain? Possibly, but his body language was wrong. A waiter moving through the crowd with practiced invisibility. Maya's pulse quickened at the thought. Maya's always been different, Derek said, settling into his role as family spokesman. She measures success differently than the rest of us. It's admirable, really. Vivian Rothschild's neural crown pulsed as she accessed psychological profiles and social dynamics databases. Some people need external validation, money, status, recognition. Others find fulfillment in simpler pleasures. The word simpler stung like a backhanded compliment. Maya's fingers tightened around her communicator, where $50 million waited in digital silence. She could end this with a single screen display, watch their condescending smiles crumble into shocked silence. Instead, she chose dignity. Different doesn't mean wrong, Maya said quietly. Of course not. Jennifer's enthusiasm was performative, designed for her audience. Different is beautiful. Different is authentic. Maya, you're like our family's reminder that money isn't everything. Even though it kind of is, Brad laughed, the sound sharp enough to cut glass. I mean, Maya, honey, what happens when Mum needs medical care that costs more than library budgets? When her house needs repairs that require actual money? Good intentions don't pay for reality. Maya's neural implant chimed with another message. They have no idea what they're looking at. You're about to become the wealthiest person in that garden, and they're lecturing you about financial responsibility. Money provides security, Aunt Patricia added, her tone taking on the patient cadence of someone explaining basic concepts to a child. It creates opportunities, options. Without it, you're just limited. Limited, Maya repeated the word, tasting its bitterness. Around her, holographic displays showed stock portfolios and real estate valuations, social media metrics, and influence ratings. These people measured their worth in numbers that fluctuated with market conditions, their self-esteem rising and falling with algorithmic approval. We've actually been talking, Derek said, exchanging glances with Brad and Aunt Patricia. About your situation. Maya's blood chilled. My situation? Your career trajectory, Brad clarified, or lack thereof. Maya, you're 28 years old. Most people your age have already established themselves professionally, built foundations for their futures. I have a job. You have a hobby that pays minimum wage, Aunt Patricia said gently. Sweetheart, there's no shame in admitting that idealism has its limits. The library system is failing. Budget cuts, technological obsolescence. Your job probably won't exist in 5 years. Maya's communicator buzzed against her palm. Stay calm, trust me. Margaret at First National Bank has an entry-level teller position, Aunt Patricia continued. It's not glamorous, but it would teach you about money management, give you real-world experience. I could get you an interview at my firm, Derek interrupted. Starting in the mailroom, but with advancement opportunities. Real advancement, not whatever fantasy progression exists in public service. The housing market is exploding, Brad added. You could get your real estate license, work with my team, learn how actual wealth gets built. Maya felt the walls closing in, their voices overlapping in a symphony of helpful condescension. These people who thought they understood success, who measured achievement in luxury goods and social metrics, were offering to rescue her from a life they couldn't comprehend. Her neural implant buzzed with a private message from Jennifer. Don't be stubborn about this. We're trying to help. Then another from Derek. Mum's worried about you. We all are. And finally, from Brad. Pride won't pay your bills, cousin. Maya excused herself with murmured words about needing the restroom, her legs carrying her toward the house on autopilot. The bathroom's smart mirror activated as she entered, scanning her biometrics and offering personalized wellness recommendations based on her elevated stress levels. She ignored the mirror's helpful suggestions and activated her communicator's encrypted channel. They want to stage an intervention, she whispered. I know. James's voice was warm in her ear, steady and reassuring. I can hear everything from here. Where is here exactly? Patience, Maya, I have news. The TechnoEd acquisition is complete. Signed, sealed and deposited. You're officially worth $50 million. Maya gripped the bathroom counter, her reflection staring back with wide eyes. 50 million. The number was too large to process, too abstract to feel real. There's more, James continued. I'm not just your business partner. My name is James Morrison. The world tilted. Maya knew that name. Everyone did. James Morrison, son of tech billionaire Alexander Morrison. The man whose dating life was tracked by gossip feeds, whose business decisions moved markets. Forbes' youngest billionaire 3 years running. That's impossible. I'm sorry I lied. I needed to know you were interested in me, not my trust fund. His voice grew soft, intimate. Maya, I've been falling for you over these calls. Your mind, your passion, the way you see the world. I needed to know it was real. Maya's hands shook as she processed the revelation. 6 months of conversation, of growing intimacy and shared dreams, with someone whose net worth appeared on financial news feeds. You're here, she breathed, at the party. I am. Which one are you? Which one are you? You'll find out soon enough. Maya, how are you feeling about all this? She thought about the intervention waiting in the garden, about her family's plans to save her from herself, about Derek's $10,000 bracelet, and Brad's commission bragging and Jennifer's live-streamed charity. I'm feeling, Maya said slowly, like it's time to teach them something about actual wealth. James's laughter was warm and delighted. Maya Chen, you are absolutely magnificent. She ended the call and looked at herself in the smart mirror one final time. The woman staring back wore a vintage dress and carried secrets worth more than everything in that garden combined. In 20 minutes, her family's world would shift dramatically, but only she knew it. Maya straightened her shoulders and walked back toward the party, ready to let them finish digging their own graves with condescending kindness. The intervention was about to become something much more interesting.